Hello. I bet you're wondering where I've been, and I'm not going to tell you, but I am going to tell you we got some very mildly exciting news today for the Bulls, so let's get right into it. So I wanted to talk about a few things. One, there have been some hirings for Billy Donovan's coaching staff, which have looked fantastic in my opinion. Two, there have been more and more rumors about a particular player that the Bulls are really trying to get in the NBA draft, who I am very high on myself. And then three, there have been a lot of trade rumors, again, still for one, Zach LaVine, and it makes me very upset. Guys, let's talk about it. So the Bulls have recently hired Maurice Cheeks from Oklahoma City and Josh Longstaff from the Milwaukee Bucks. These are two hirings from great organizations, and I feel like this is just what the Bulls needed. The reason I really like this Maurice Cheeks hiring is because he was a head coach from 2001 just up until 2014 with the Portland Trail Blazers, the Philadelphia 76ers, and the Detroit Pistons. He's also a Hall of Fame point guard inducted in 2018, so he obviously knows a great deal about the game, hopefully can help develop our young players into superstars like himself. And then, of course, we've got Josh Longstaff. Prior to being with the Chicago Bulls, he was with the Oklahoma City Thunder, the New York Knicks, and then the Atlanta Hawks G League affiliate before joining the Milwaukee Bucks. And this guy has just been with a lot of great organizations, so hopefully he can bring some of his knowledge from the other organizations he's been with over to the Chicago Bulls. Next up, I wanted to talk about my favorite draft prospect right now, Deni Avdija. So the Chicago Bulls have been linked to Avdija for a little bit now, and he is looking better and better as he's been working out for certain teams like the Golden State Warriors and hopefully soon the Chicago Bulls if he hasn't already worked out with them. I'm not entirely sure, but just watching this guy play, he can facilitate, he can shoot, he can finish, he can do it all. I mean, you've heard comparisons. Take this with a grain of salt, but with Luka Doncic. Now, do I think he's going to be the next Luka Doncic? I don't know, man. It's kind of hard to see. It's kind of hard to tell with your league players because you don't really get a great look at them. You don't really watch their game too often as you would a player in the NCAA or something. So take that with a grain of salt, but this man has been looking fantastic. There have been rumors that the Warriors have been wanting to take him at the number 2 pick or even somebody trading up to the number 3 pick and taking him. But I really hope that he will be available at the number 4 pick because he looks like he could really help this team out. Obviously, we need a small forward with Otto Porter never staying healthy. He's always injured, and when he plays, let's be honest, he's kind of underperformed. Now, especially with that contract, it's going to be difficult to move him, but hopefully somehow we can find a way to. If not, I mean, I wouldn't mind keeping him coming off the bench because when he plays, he can have his moments where he can shoot and defend really well for you. So there's that at least. But Avdija looks fantastic. I really, really hope the Bulls can get him. There have been a lot of rumors that the Bulls really, really want him, as well as a few other teams. I mean, this guy can go as high as number 2. I don't know who's going to go number 1, but hopefully we can get Avdija at 4. If not, I mean, maybe trade up for him if you really hear rumors about the Warriors potentially going for him. Now, next prospect I wanted to talk about is a very popular one, LaMelo Ball. You know, there's been a lot of rumors, or talk even, that he hasn't performed well in his pre-draft interviews. That's kind of lowered his stock, and I mean, people are saying that he could be available at number 4. But if Avdija is available at 4 and LaMelo is as well, I would go with Avdija because I haven't really heard a lot of negative things about him so far. I mean, I don't know the guy personally. I don't know how he's performing in these draft interviews, but I feel like just because you haven't heard anything means, in my opinion, that he's done well. I don't know. I'm not in the same room as them when they're interviewing these guys, but just the look of LaMelo Ball right now is not the best. I really like the guy. I think he's a great player. I think he's so fun to watch. But, I mean, if he's got some attitude problems or just doesn't seem like he's fully committed to the game, or he's just more committed to being a star in the sense that, oh, I want to get my brand deals, I want to get my commercials and whatever he's going for, I would much rather go for a guy who's just focusing on playing the game. So that, in my opinion, would be Deni Avdija. And, of course, next up, James Wiseman. If he is available at 4 or Deni Avdija, I would take Wiseman, man. I mean, the guy is a beast. He was at Memphis. He looked phenomenal. And, I mean, I honestly am very high on him as well, but I don't think he's going to be there at number 4. It's a toss-up, man. Honestly, it's a toss-up between him and Avdija. But I would go with James Wiseman just because he was projected to go as high as number 2 as well. I don't think I've ever seen him projected to go number 1. But in this draft, I mean, hey, anything's possible. There's really no clear consensus number 1 pick. Obviously, you've heard more so that a guy like Anthony Edwards could go number 1 more than you've heard LaMelo Ball or Avdija or Wiseman or whoever. But, I mean, really, there's no clear-cut number 1 pick in this draft. Now, last but not least, I really wanted to talk about, again, these trade rumors with Zach LaVine. I've been seeing a ton of them still, more so now that the draft is coming up in the next few weeks. But I've heard rumors that he could potentially go to the Lakers, the Nets, the Rockets, whoever, you name it. There's rumors that he could potentially go there. The one trade that I've heard that actually intrigues me the most is the one with the Brooklyn Nets where we could get Karis LeVert, I believe it was their pick, and then somebody else for Zach LaVine. I mean, look, I would take Karis LeVert. If you're going to trade Zach LaVine, trade him for a guy like Karis LeVert who could score, who can be a third option. I really like Karis LeVert, so I mean, I wouldn't mind that, but I really do want to keep Zach LaVine because if he's getting praise from guys like Kevin Durant, that means something in my opinion. Because obviously he's played against him, he's seen him play, and he knows what he's capable of. This is a superstar in the league in Kevin Durant and a potential superstar for Zach LaVine. I think it would be nuts for you to trade somebody like that. I don't care what he's shown you or what he hasn't shown you in the last couple of years with the organization. You cannot trade this guy. I mean, you what would you trade him for? Anything you would trade him for, in my opinion, just wouldn't be worth it. It just straight up wouldn't be worth it because you're not going to get a guy like James Harden for him. I mean, that could come back to bite me because, I mean, hey, apparently James Harden is going to get traded now. But these trade rumors are crazy. I mean, I don't know if any of these rumors are coming from the Chicago Bulls being, uncertain about Zach LaVine's future with the team, but I doubt it. I think he's shown more than enough that he can be a number 1 or maybe a number 2 option for a winning team, and hopefully that winning team could be the Chicago Bulls. Now, we've got a new coach, we've got a new coaching staff, new front office who can put together a good team, hopefully, and we just got to see exactly how Zach LaVine does with this whole new team. I really think that if you just wait and see, he could progress. I'm a big Zach LaVine fan, so this is coming straight from the heart because I absolutely love watching him play. But also just thinking logically, he could be a great player for this team. I mean, again, you got guys like Kevin Durant praising him, saying he could be the next star in this league or whatever the case is. So hopefully they do not trade him because I think he would be a fantastic piece for this organization going forward. I mean, I don't want them to trade Lauri Markkanen. I don't want them to trade Kobe White. If anything, trade Otto Porter or Wendell Carter. I love Wendell Carter. I'm not so high on Otto Porter just because, again, he's been injured pretty much for his entire career, unfortunately. But, I mean, I don't think you should trade any of our really, our young, great prospects like Markkanen, LaVine, Kobe White. I think that would just be ridiculous, especially if you're trading for a guy like Chris Paul or even Karis LeVert. That, like I was saying, I would be okay with that. And if you were to trade Zach LaVine, I feel like a Nets package would probably be the best way to go and the most realistic option. But I don't think Zach LaVine is at that point where you're going to trade for a super mega star unless you put together a huge package that just wouldn't be worth it. Even if you trade for a guy like James Harden, he's not going to. I feel like James Harden's not going to get you an NBA championship. And not saying Zach LaVine could by himself, but hey, look, if we can put together a good team, we've already got a bunch of good young pieces. I mean, the Rockets, you look at them. Their only good players are James Harden and Russell Westbrook, and those guys have obviously proven that they cannot be championship caliber players. Now, you look at the players around them, it's nothing. It's crap. No disrespect to those players, but I mean, look, I believe they've got Robert Covington, PJ Tucker, who else? Who else do they have on their team that's even worth noting? Really, I mean, they don't have a center. Like, they're trying to do this new brand of small ball that just didn't work. It worked for the regular season, but in the postseason where it really counts, obviously not. But really, if you ask me, I don't think James Harden will get you to the NBA Finals. I don't think he can bring a Bulls team to the NBA Finals if you're trading Zach LaVine for him. Look, obviously James Harden is better than Zach LaVine right now. But that's right now. Zach LaVine is only like 24, 25 years old, and he's still a very young player with room to grow. So hopefully, I really believe that he can progress into a superstar for this team. And so do a lot of Bulls fans, but then there's also the Bulls fans who want him to get traded. But I digress. I think it would be silly to trade him because you're not going to find anything that's nearly worth it. But anyways, guys, I want to thank you so much for watching. This has been so much fun to film. I mean, just going on a rant about the Bulls is probably one of my favorite things in the world. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.